It is Tuesday, February 13th, and the Splash Zone is back in your life. I am Matt Modi with my three favorite NBA player props for tonight's NBA betting slate. For those of you that are new to my channel and followed me yesterday, I apologize. Of course, yesterday's video performed really well, and it ended up being my worst video to date. I gave out 4 picks, did not get any of those 4 to cash, and honestly, none of the 4 were even close. I had Maxey under 5.5 assists. He had 5 in the first quarter. I had Jamal Murray over 23.5 points. He played horribly, then got hurt. I think he scored 3 points. I had Brandon Miller over 20.5 points, something like that. He didn't play a ton of minutes due to injuries and stuff. I think he had like 10 points. It was bad. And then Emmanuel quickly, 20 plus points. They got blown out by the Spurs and he barely played in the second half. Just a really, really bad night. Sometimes I come on here and I talk about the bad beats. That wasn't the case yesterday. It was just really bad. So we were down 4.05 units yesterday, losing all 4 of my plays, down 4 units in even more pride. Luckily, if you look at the entire season, we are still having an amazing year. Obviously, days like yesterday suck and they make me feel bad, but on the entire season, we are up 42.8 units with an ROI of 24.81%. So I would encourage everybody to stick with me if you were new to my channel yesterday and that was your first experience, because admittedly that was brutal. But on the year, we're up 24% ROI, almost 25% ROI is incredible. Up over 40 units before the All-Star break, playing 3 to 4 plays a day is really, really good. So hopefully today we can bounce back. I will say, last time we had a day in which we didn't cash any of our plays. The next day, we swept the slate. So I'm hoping we can do that today. Would appreciate it if you could subscribe to my YouTube channel, which I know it's tough to ask people for that after yesterday. I still would appreciate it. And then if you have been tuning into my channel, hit me up in the comments, hit me up in, or like the video, I should say. And I respond to many people as I can. For people that have sent me kind words, I appreciate you sticking with me. Let's get into today's picks. Let's have a bounce back day. Let's get wet. The first play that we're going to go ahead and lock in here is in the Heat versus Bucks game, Jaime Jaquez Jr. over 20.5 points, rebounds, assists, -115 odds at DraftKings. So this is a play normally with these NBA player props. Like, part of my strategy is A, fading recent results, and B, targeting specific matchups, juicy matchups. That's really not what we're doing with this one. We're not targeting a juicy matchup or anything like that. This is a play because just look at how many players are going to be out for the Miami Heat. And because of that, I'm projecting Jaime Jaquez Jr. to play over 30 minutes, right? So the Heat are going to confirm to already be out. Jimmy Butler, Josh Richardson, and Terry Rozier, they're confirmed out. Then Duncan Robinson is questionable for the game tonight as well. It's just a skeleton crew out there for the Heat, which means that Jaime Jaquez Jr. is going to play an increased role for the team. This year, on the entire season, Jaquez has played 16 games without Jimmy Butler, and I'm just looking at Jimmy Butler, not any of the other guys. 16 games without Jimmy Butler. He's gone over this number, over 20.5 points, rebounds, assists in 12 of those 16 games, including 8 of his last 10 and 4 of his last 5. With Butler in the lineup, he's only cashed this over in 8 of 31 games. So it is a little bit higher than what the line is for Jaime Jaquez Jr. on just a normal night. I still don't think it's high enough. With Jimmy Butler in the lineup, Jaime Jaquez Jr. averages 8.9 points per game, 3.4 rebounds, and 1.9 assists. If you look at those 16 games without Jimmy Butler, he's averaging 16.4 points per game, 4.5 rebounds, and 3 assists. So almost 24, 25 of everything added up, points, rebounds, assists. Almost double the points from 8.9 to 16.4, and about 50% higher of the rebounds and the assists. Just an amazing increase in his stats, which makes sense. Obviously, without their best player, Jimmy Butler, someone's going to need to step up. And a lot of times that's Jaquez Jr. And for what it's worth, a new source that I've been looking at, RotoWire, mostly just for projected minutes and for projected usage rate and stuff like that, they project Jaquez Jr. to play 32 minutes in this game, and that's including 36 minutes from Duncan Robinson. So if Robinson ends up missing, Jaquez could play 34, 35, 36 minutes, something like that. And even if Duncan Robinson still plays, I would still like this over. It's just a bonus if he ends up missing. So if you look at the entire season, and this does include games with Jimmy Butler, if you just isolate the data, and I'm using props.cash for this, games in which Jaime Jaquez Jr. has played 30 or more minutes. So he's projected 32. I'm pumping this down a little bit just to 30. He's gone over 20.5 points, rebounds, assists in 18 of 26 games, including, again, 8 of his last 10 and 4 of his last 5, and in 3 straight. So I really like this over for the points, rebounds, assists. And as a side note, his point total is only 13.5. I really like that as well. I like that over. And I personally am going to ladder him up to 20 plus points. Only a quarter unit at plus 490 odds, but I could see him having a really good game in this one. That's our first play. Next up, Thunder versus Magic. We're taking Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, SGA, over 31.5 points, minus 105 odds at BetMGM. So for this one, we're going straight back to our roots, taking a juicy matchup for point guards, and we're somewhat fading recent results. If you look at his past 10 games, SGA has been a little bit somewhat on a cold streak for his standards, mostly just looking at this 31.5 point total over under, not like he's actually playing horrible. He did break out of that last game. He scored 38 points against the Kings, but prior to that, he had gone under 31.5 points in 4 straight games. And actually, in 3 of those games, he actually hadn't even gotten to 30 points, which is almost unheard of for SGA. Now, yes, in 2 of those games, he played fewer than 30 minutes because of a blowout, but that still is an under, right? That still counts as an under. You don't get your play refunded just because of a blowout. This game against the Magic, the Thunder are 2.5, 3-point favorites, depending on where you look. So I'm not expecting this one to be a blowout or anything like that. And he's still having a great year overall. If you look at the entire season, he's cashed this over in 27 of 52 games, but only in 4 of his last 10, which makes this a nice fade of recent results. Now for the matchup. As good as the Magic defense has been this year, and they've been very good, the one area in which they struggle is guarding from the perimeter, right? They're very strong interior defense. They can be had from guards on the perimeter. Props.cash lists them as the 5th best matchup in the NBA when it comes to point guard point props. That kind of makes sense. They've allowed the 6th most points per game to point guards in the entire NBA. And then looking at Courtside Pal specifically for his scoring profile, the Magic are allowing the 5th most points per game to someone of SGA's scoring profile. So all 3 of those kind of match. They all match each other, right? Props.cash, 5th best matchup. Total points to point guards, 6th most. Total points to SGA's scoring profile, 5th most. They all kind of match each other, which is nice to see. And if this game stays relatively close, again, only a 2.5 point spread, SGA is going to play 35 plus minutes, right? RotoWire projects him for 39, which is crazy, but he does play a lot. So if he doesn't get into foul trouble, I think 35 points is safe. And on the year, and with games in which he's played 35 or more minutes, he's gone over 31.5 points in 21 of 29 games, including 8 of 10. These 2 teams played earlier in the year. SGA scored 37 on them. Hopefully he can do something similar tonight, just get us to 32. That's our second play. Next up, third and final pick of the evening, Pistons versus Lakers. D'Angelo Russell over 20.5 points. This is best offered at plus 112 at BetRivers. Excuse me, you can also get plus 110 at ESPN Bet. And this is a play that I'm going to go ahead and ladder up. I'm taking this 25 plus points, putting a half unit on it at plus 250 odds. For the ladder plays, I tell people if I'm going to do it or not. I only track the official play that you see on the video and that I give out. But I do like to tell people when I'm laddering plays as well. Now for this one, we are absolutely not even close fading recent results. D'Angelo Russell, he's been on fire for the Lakers. He's been amazing. And for this one, I'm betting on that to continue. So instead of trying to fade how well he's been playing, I'm going to go ahead and back those trends. Over the past 10 games, he's gone over the main line of 20.5 points in 7 of those 10 games. And overall, in that same 10-game sample size, he scored 25 or more points in 6 of those games. So not only is he heavily hitting our ladder play, but he's also even more heavily hitting our mainline play as well. He's been playing great. I see that continuing. Spencer Dinwiddie is making his debut for the Lakers. That doesn't really scare me off that much. Like, we're going to have to see how much that impacts D'Lo's role. At least for the first game, I'm not expecting it to have a massive impact on the role for D'Angelo Russell. And neither is RotoWire for what it's worth. They're projecting D'Lo to play 38 minutes with his normal usage rate, and Dinwiddie to only play 19 minutes. So the expectation there is that they're easing him into the game. And easing Dinwiddie, I should say, still playing Russell heavy minutes. That makes sense. Obviously, D'Lo's been so good recently, they probably just want to ride that out. Eventually, yeah, the other side is going to drop. He's never been able to show this type of consistency in his career. But for the time being, yeah, let's ride it out. This is also such a good matchup against the Pistons, right? The Pistons are giving up the second most points per game to someone of D'Lo's shooting profile, the ninth most to his scoring profile, and literally the most to his playmaking style. So yeah, the ninth most to his scoring profile is still a good matchup, but it's not among the best. Shooting and playmaking absolutely is among the best. So D'Lo, I'm honestly not a huge fan of his game and him as a player, but he's come through for us every time he's appeared on the Splash Zone. Let's not jinx that. Let's hope that continues tonight as our third and final pick. That's all we got. Just 3 bangers for tonight, playing it a little bit easier after getting just my dick kicked in yesterday. Would appreciate it if everybody could like the video, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And then the last thing I'll say, it's the last point I make at the end of every video. I have a dub club. It's only $5 a month. And what I'm not trying to do is sell you on some sort of VIP picks package. All I do for my dub club is the plays that I give out for free on YouTube, I also send out on Dub Club. So it's a lot easier because you can just get them texted to you and you get them immediately. So if the odds change by the time you're watching this, what I always tell people is, hey, that's what I have the Dub Club for. I'm not trying to sell you on anything. That's just the reality. Sometimes odds change over the course of a day. And it's also, I'm only asking for $5 a month. You know, I'm not one of those people that has a VIP package for like $200 a month, which is crazy, or anything like that. I will be clear, everything you get on Dub Club, you can get for free on YouTube. So if you like watching the videos, stick with the YouTube, totally fine. If you'd rather just get them texted to you and have them immediately, $5 a month for the Dub Club. Whatever you want to do is totally fine with me. I just like giving people the option, and that's all we got. Appreciate everybody for watching, and have a good one.